Check out all your favorite shows at VoxWave.com. On Mondays, we keep it moving with The Kim Show from 11 to 1 p.m. Then it's time for a change with Sherry and Mignon, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then in the end we win with Curtis, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. On Tuesdays, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Start your afternoon with The Wealth Zone with Raymond Starks. Then it's Cooking with Flavors with Chef Flavors, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And treat yourself right with My Spa Bath and Body, hosted by Margaret Harris, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Up next is Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, rocking from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then on Wednesdays, you can't miss Impact the World with Cheryl Woods, 12 noon to 2 p.m. And then from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., we got Slick Talk with Oscar D and It's the Kid. Then from 8 to 9 p.m., we crank it up with Live Set Wednesdays, hosted by Reg Gaskins. And after that, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m., the BGKH Show with Dominion and Epic. And check out our Thursday lineup, starting with You, Math, and Me, hosted by George Randall from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Then from 7 to 9 p.m., the 640 Evening Show with DJ 640. And on Fridays, we start out with Peace in the Morning Show with Darius A. Stan, co-host Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen of Sudabek, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. From 10:30 to 11:30, the Hall Street Journal with Robert Hall and co-host Clarence Sanders. And after that, you know we gotta check in with Chanel's 3 Cents, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Up next, from 3 to 4:30 p.m., Daryl Allen Hairston II Crime Victims Foundation Show with your host, Daryl Hairston. Then, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. is The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique. And from 9:15 to 11:15 p.m., you can't miss Different Mind Show with Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, co-host Hillary Banks. Then start out your Saturday mornings with the Healer Blues Show, hosted by Ron Jackson. After that, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., the Hour of Power with Reverend Winters Rogers. Then, from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, it's time for prayer, praise, and deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr. Four Sisters Live Talk, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Then every second Saturday, listen to Turning Dreams into Reality Talk Show with Tashika L. Green, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. After that, from 3 to 4 p.m., we walk in newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette. And don't miss, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., news, ULM News and Analysis, information, sports, Black history, with your host, news anchor Roderick Carter Willis, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Then, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., it's time for DJ Rick, the CEO of Step Your Game Up, the Youth Project, co-hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe. And then, at 7:45 to 8:45 p.m., it's time for the Fantastic Live Show with MC Fran. And starting out on Sundays, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I am Dr. Sharon Show with Dr. Sharon. And every first Sunday, from 3 to 4 p.m., it's the Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour. And every third Sunday, check out the Teen Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then it's time for Real Talk 101, 6 to 8 p.m. And from 8:15 to 9:15 p.m., we're tuned into the Gospel Live TV show with Glory Mello. Stay tuned to Vox Wave, where you can find all your favorite shows.
The world's #1 streaming music station, VoxWave.com.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah, I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me.
Yes, you do. Hey everybody, welcome to Impact the World Radio. I'm Cheryl Wood, your host and the visionary of the show. We're here every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. with just phenomenal women. I mean, I want to say men and women, but typically it's women because you guys know that I am an advocate for women and a women's empowerment champion. So kind of all things women here, but we do not prevent men from coming in through the door. So if you are a man who wants to be on the show and talk about how you're impacting the world with your unique fingerprint, then just reach out to us. You can send an email to assistant@CherylWoodEmpowers.com. Now, for those of you who are chiming in, I know we have some folks already who are lined up on Facebook. Guys, thank you for being here. Sharon Parker is here. Nika Corbett's here. Rose Godlock. Tawanda Livingston, Janika Haynes, Robin Holloway, Kim Brewington, Charisma Magwood, Michelle Kuntz, and a whole slew of other people. Thank you for being here. But if you want to share this out for others to watch it and they're not connected with us perhaps through Facebook, they can actually go online and watch the live show at voxwave.com. That's VOXWAV.com. Now, I'm going to give you a number that you can call if you have a question for myself or for any of our guests. But look, you can't call this number and listen to the show. You can only call the number and talk to us live and ask questions. That number is 240, and if somebody could post this in the feed, that would be great. 240-719-2560. Again, that's 240-719-2560. That's only if you have a question or you want to talk to us live or ask our guests a live question. If you want to listen to the show, watch the show, then you have to go to voxwave.com. I got to give a huge shout out to Tammy Turner for writing and producing that song that you hear every week that we're here. Playtime is over, and you always hear me humming it like I'm in church, you know, because I'm just saying it gets me going, and it energizes me every time I hear it. But she actually wrote that song. She produced it in the studio, and she performed it live at last year's Playtime is Over annual Women's Business Conference that I host every November. Which leads me to the point, everybody keeps asking me, Cheryl, are you having PTIO this year? Y'all, I'm working on it. You know, a sister is busy. God has been moving. You know, I just had this amazing trip back from Africa. I swear my mind is still in Africa. Like my body physically is here, but my mind is still in Africa. So I'm trying to pull it together and keep things moving. So I will let you know as soon as I have dates, as soon as I have information. Thank you so much, Sharon Parker, for posting that. Thank you so much, Kim Brewington, for posting the phone number. And hey, Shanae Robinson. All right, so I am, well, it sounds like somebody's calling. I hope you're calling with a question, comment, or some feedback to tell me how good we look on this screen. Otherwise, you cannot listen to the show on this number. So you're on the line. Hello. No. See how you just shut them down? You just shut them down. Like, this is not for you to listen to the show. You have to listen to the show at voxwave.com. All right, so I want to jump right in because my first guest, this beautiful lady who's sitting to my left, her name is Dr. Valika Moore. I want to tell you a little bit more about her, and then we will jump into today's conversation. So Dr. Valika Moore is the founder of Empowerment Through Expression LLC Therapy Center and Mind Spa. I have never heard of a Mind Spa, so my interest is piqued and intrigued. I can't wait. She's a wife, a mother, a therapist, a speaker, author, and a minister. She's known as the Transformation Activator. You better do it. For women leaders who supports amazing women in shifting from being stuck confused, and frustrated by teaching them strategies that support with powerfully transforming their minds, businesses, and lives as they fully embrace and activate the next level of their God-given purpose and brilliance. Well, that's the kind of talk I like to hear. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
And you look
me.
beautiful. I
Thank
need that
you,
necklace.
you
That
too.
blends so well with this.
All right,
and
and
talk after the
I think
show.
I borrowed this necklace from my mom like a year ago.
You borrowed it. Just tell her I borrowed it from you, and eventually it'll come back around to mom. So, Dr. Valika, talk to us about the Empowerment Through Expression Therapy Center and Mind Spa, and explain what a mind spa really is.
Absolutely. Okay, happy to. So, 4 years ago, I started Empowerment Through Expression, which was a therapy practice. And we saw all clients. However, most of the clients that were coming in were women, and women that were in some type of transition. And something that I ask a lot is, what do you do for self-care? What do you do to take care of yourself with all of this going on? And, a lot of the women were like, self-care, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Self-care, so with that, and also just trying to get people to really understand what mental wellness means. Because when we say mental health, a lot of people are like, well, I don't need therapy. I don't need this. I'm not crazy, So just trying to go beyond what people think mental wellness is, that we all have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We all have to take care of our minds. So from that, other than just being a therapy practice, I wanted people to see mental wellness in another way.
First of all, I love that expression. I love the expression, the way you frame that, mental wellness. It does sound, I'm sorry, it sounds better than mental health. And especially in our community, the African American community, and most of our viewers are in the African American community, that is kind of a taboo subject.
Yes.
Mental health. And I've dealt with it in my own family, my immediate family. We have had to deal with some situations in the past 5 to 6 years that we never anticipated. And we didn't know how to handle it or address it because nobody ever talked about that.
Right.
And what we learned in the African American community is what? You keep your business to yourself. Like, we don't take our business out of here.
Exactly.
So that was very challenging. But I like the framing of it as mental wellness. When people talk about wellness, it's a different connotation. Do you find that?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So with mental health, mental wellness, a lot of people, they see it as, the diagnoses, so I wanted it to go beyond that we understand that we all have mental health. We all need to take care of our mental wellness. So when we're stressed, that's mental health, So it's not just us having a diagnosis or feeling like mental wellness is limited to people having a diagnosis or being crazy.
Yeah.
And so what I said I wanted to do was have something that could include all people, just to kind of take the stigma part out of things, so the mind spa. So for women, especially, like I said, I was, talking to the women who are like, relax. What is that? Like, I don't have time for that. I have these children. I have this job. I have my husband. I have all this going on that, well, we need to relax. We need to take care of ourselves. Self-care is so important. So, I made that a part of our therapy center where massages were included, where just sitting back and being able to drink a cup of tea or some nice, water, where you can just have a moment to yourself.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about the mental wellness day, taking a day off of work, but what happens sometimes is that day off of work, we're finding ourselves still doing everything else.
You're like, a day, girl, can I get 5 minutes? Can I get 3 minutes? Like, a day is like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we find ourselves still running around doing errands and stuff. So what the purpose behind the Mind Spa is just a place that you can come, you can get a massage, you can vent some of that stuff out, because what I say is what we want is that you are going to leave in feeling differently than the way you came. So not only are you coming in to get a massage, but you're also coming in to be able to get strategy for some of the things that are causing stress in your life. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, so I think that's such a great point that people make the connection. And again, I want to shout out all the folks who are with us. Thank you so much, Tony from California, Aretha, thanks for being here, Samika, that we make the connection between your physical care and wellness to your mental wellness, because some people might be confused. Like, what does a spa, what does a massage have to do with my mental wellness? But as you mentioned, it's a space where you can decompress. It's a space where you're able to release some stress.
Yes.
And if you're a busy woman like I am, and I'm sure Dr. Valika is, then guess what? Most times we are always ripping and running and serving and serving and giving to everybody else, as you mentioned. And so we don't typically have or create that space and that time for the self-care, which is a direct connector to our mental wellness.
Absolutely.
And our mindset.
Yes.
So do we have someone on the line? Hi, welcome to the show. Who's calling us? Did you expect to be on the show, or you just thought you were going to listen to the show? So I think that's somebody who thinks they're listening to the show. So guys, again, you have to go to voxwave.com to listen to the show or watch the show, voxwav.com. If you call in to the live hotline, the 240-719-2560, you're going to get us live, which means we're going to stop the show. We're going to say, hey, how you doing? And then we got to get back into our thought process. And I'm over 40, so, I got to stay on one train at a time, y'all. So make sure if you're dialing that number that it's because you want to ask a question of our guest or myself, or you have some input and you want to add to the conversation. So going back to our conversation, so how does someone get connected with your organization? Are you out in the community and you're just kind of advocating? Are you meeting women through referrals, or is it at, speaking engagements? Because I noticed that you're a speaker and a minister.
Yes, absolutely. So a few ways, actually. So I am online. I'm definitely on Facebook. I'm doing the Facebook Lives, because something that, I didn't do in the beginning of business is I guess fell back because I knew what the stigma was as well. So I've been doing therapy for quite a while now, but when I jumped into, my own business, I was like, okay, I'll get my clients the way that I get them, but people don't really feel like hearing about mental health.
Right.
That's not something that people really want to hear about. So actually it's just this year that I really start doing a lot of lives on Facebook, and because I was like, okay, maybe I should call myself a coach rather than a therapist, because that like scare people off, right?
Look, that's real talk.
Yeah,
that's real talk. And how many of you, we have a lot of business owners who watch the show, and how many of you have ever done that, where you have kind of diminished your gift, your unique expertise, or you've kind of hidden in the background? Come on, we're talking to somebody.
Yes.
You've hidden in the background because maybe you thought that there was not going to be any traction based on what it was that you were presenting in the marketplace.
Yes.
But I tell every speaker that I work with and support, look, there is a specific segment of the population that's waiting on you. Specifically.
Absolutely.
And they will not get what they need, and they will not move forward in their life, in their career, in their business, in their destiny, until you step to the front and you are willing to share that gift, regardless of your own fears and doubts, and sometimes misconceptions about what really is needed in the marketplace. So I love that you got over that hurdle and decided to come out to the forefront.
Right, because every year around this time of year, so it's May, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay.
So every year around this time of year, I would get on Facebook and I would do some stuff. I would post some stuff, because, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. But this year, going into this year, and, just after, just seeing so much that my clients were really going through, I was like, somebody else needs this. Someone else needs to hear this, and they might not push the like button. They might not acknowledge that they're on or whatever, but someone needs to know really what therapy is. Someone really needs to know what mental health and mental wellness is all about. So in January, I really came out more into the forefront of talking about therapy and mental wellness. And I mean, since then, like just the response that I've gotten, just response during the live, or the response in my inbox, of people just asking more questions. So what's
some of the top questions that you get? If you were to tell us like the top 2 or 3 questions that people ask, what would that typically be?
Well, I mean, people want to know a lot about their children. Getting their children into therapy, that is one that I hear a lot. or, you know, just different questions about just different symptoms that they're noticing in their children,
okay.
Or different reasons. And that's generally how it starts with a lot of people. They will see some issues going on with a family member,
right.
You know, generally the children. And what we find when we bring the children in is that, okay, this is kind of a family issue, or maybe mom needs some therapy too.
Yeah.
You know, it could be helpful for mom as well. Another thing, because what I talk about a lot is self-care. You know, so I talk to women a lot. That is like my audience, you know, self-care. And a lot of that is, well, you know, how do I find a minute when I have all of this going on?
Absolutely.
You know, so really trying to help women understand that we really have to reframe or really come up with a new script when it comes to us being able to take care of ourselves, because it doesn't have to be hard. And I think in our minds we see it as something that has to take a lot of time, or it has to look a certain way.
Yeah.
So really trying to help women understand that, okay, well, you know, maybe you can't get a whole hour or a whole afternoon, but even if you're taking 20 minutes, you know, there's something that you can do in 20 minutes that is going to help you.
Yeah. And we're going to dig more into that conversation. I do want to acknowledge Leona Carter. Thank you for being here on Facebook Live. The dial-in number Leona is asking is 240-719-2560. I'm going to say that again, and if maybe somebody could type that one more time in the feed. Again, it's 240-719-2560. That is only if you have a question or a comment, or you want to engage as a part of the conversation. We would ask you to keep your question or comment to, you know, maybe 30 seconds or 60 seconds. I want to give a shout out to Alicia Vidette. Thank you for being here. Hey, Sharon Shiflett. Thank you so much for being here. Tony says, what's your website?
My website, okay, so the easiest way to find me is drvalekamoore.com. So drvalekamoore.com.
Got it. So yes, Leona, 240-719-2560. Hi, Trinice Richardson. Thank you for being here. Adrian Turner. Thank you guys so much for joining the conversation. This is a real serious issue that especially impacts women. And there we have a caller, and hopefully this caller has an actual question or wants to engage in the conversation. Welcome to Impact the World Radio. What's your question or comment?
Hi there. My question is, what is a good strategy to encourage men in the family, your father, your husband, your brother, we're talking adults, to get help? Because, you know, as you talked about the stigma, it's really a macho kind of thing to go get help. And so we all know in the family they need help, but trying to get them to do it is hard. So what's a good strategy?
Okay.
That's a great question. Before you answer that, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Leona Carter. Hi,
hey,
Cheryl.
Leona.
And I'm calling from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
All right. Michigan's in the building. Thank you so much for your question.
All right.
Not a problem.
So that is a great question. That's a wonderful question. And I actually this was one of the first Facebook Lives that I did in trying to help a family member get, go to therapy, or at least think about therapy. And, you know, one thing, I gave a few things not to do, because sometimes we can notice that people may need some type of assistance, some type of support. And we'll say things like, why don't you go get some help? You need some help. So I think it's really important to be sensitive to the matter, sensitive to what you're seeing. And then maybe to just sit down and have a conversation, with them, just saying, how are you feeling? And that's something that I always encourage people to lead in with. How have you been feeling? How have you really been feeling? Because, of course, we have the tendency when someone says, oh, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm fine.
I'm good.
Yeah. You're not good.
Right, exactly. I'm good. I'm fine. And to really just sit down and start there. And they might say, I'm good. I'm fine. And for you to, go deeper and encourage them to go a little bit deeper. Is something going on? How are you really feeling? And then to share maybe some of the observations that you've made and ask them if they've seen that. Because it's all about having a conversation, because being that there is such a stigma on it, and especially with men as well, and taking care of mental health, because what I would say is that probably 90% of our clients have been women. So we don't see men that often, but to, ask them what they're seeing, what they're really feeling, just to be sensitive to, how they may even respond. And to think about that, because we know our family members and we know how they're going to respond to certain things. So, that's kind of how we go in as well to help lower the defensiveness that may come up.
Yeah.
From them feeling like you're saying, okay, you need therapy or something is wrong with you, but just like with anything, if you notice, maybe they were more fatigued than usual or whatever, and you were suggesting that, okay, maybe, you should go to the doctor just to get checked out. That's something that I encourage as well. Maybe there's nothing wrong, but I'm concerned. So, maybe we can go together. Just to sit down and speak to someone, and if it's nothing, but we just want to make sure.
Yeah. So, Leona, thank you so much for the question. And Leona is back on Facebook and says, thank you so much for the answer. Great insight.
You're
I also
welcome.
have to give a huge shout out to Robin Bennett, who's here from North Carolina. Shelly Jarrett, who is here from Toronto. Toronto's in the building. Hello, Linda Huster. Thank you so much. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Linda? Your last name, is it Huster or Huser? Hey, Latasha Briscoe, thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to piggyback on everything that she's saying, because I'm not the expert in any way, but I think that everything that you spoke to is so true. I think from a male's perspective, it's more the ego, and from a woman's perspective, it's we feel like it's a lack of time because we're not used to making time for self. But I like the way that you said you can kind of lead into the conversation if you notice that there is support that somebody in your family needs, and just look. Everything, I believe, is how you say it. It's not always what you say. It's how you say it. It's when you choose to say it. It's how you approach it. Like, you can't be in a state of anger and frustration and then you want to approach somebody about something, because of course I'm going to be defensive.
Exactly.
And so, so you want to make sure that you pay attention to that, how you're saying it, what you're saying, how you approach it. And then I do love that idea of offering it as a collective solution. Why don't we go together and talk to somebody? And I'm going to say, I think you should avoid the word therapy. I wouldn't be like, come on, babe, let's go to therapy together. Like, that's just not something I would say. Because my husband, like, I'm not going to no daggone therapy, especially in the African American community, which is the only community I can speak for. But I think if I said something to the effect of, I feel like sometimes I just need to have a conversation with somebody, or I need to get some things off my chest. Would you be willing to go and we talk? We have a dialogue with somebody. We have a conversation. But I think as soon as you throw in that therapy piece, a lot of men and women tend to kind of shy away because it has that stigma.
Yes.
Let's see. So, okay. That's somebody else. So for anybody who, let me just put this out there. If you are interested, if you're loving what you see and you've been following the show and you would like to be a guest on the show, please send an email to assistant. And if somebody could type this, that would be great. Assistant@CherylWoodandPowers.com. Assistant@CherylWoodandPowers.com. And just put the subject line, Impact the World Radio, and my assistant will make sure she gets you scheduled on the show. I also want to give a huge shout out to Zenobia Andrews, who is a fellow businesswoman. She's more than a businesswoman. She is a powerhouse who is just killing the game, who I absolutely admire and respect. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this afternoon. All right, so let's move on as we start to kind of wrap up our last 6 or 7 minutes together. So we've talked about the self-care piece, which connects to kind of the mind spa. We've talked about the people's ability to come in and kind of release, have that release. And then you talked about let's talk about the self-care a little bit more.
Yes.
Because let's say they come in to your facility, your therapy center, and they have the massage and they talk and they get what they need. But then can you give us 4 or 5 things a woman can do for the self-care maintenance part of it when she's not with you, she's not at the therapy center, and she doesn't have a whole day or a whole hour? Like, what are some of the small, minute things that she can do that will still support that ongoing self-care?
Okay, so one thing that I talk about a lot is living in the moment. Okay, so it might not be an hour, it might not be that day, it might not be a weekend getaway or something like that, but being able to take moments and just live in those moments. And I spoke a little bit before about sometimes, people can ask us, how are you doing? And generally the first thing is, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine. And we're not. And I talk about, taking those moments, because when we take those moments to connect with ourselves, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that we can then kind of discover what it is that we're feeling and what we need. Because sometimes when we're not connected with ourselves because we're doing so much other stuff, we really don't even know how we feel.
So break that down. What does that look like when you say when we take the time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to be with ourselves? What does that look like?
That looks like being by yourself in a peaceful place, disconnecting from the kids.
Hello, there's the word right there. Disconnect.
Yes.
Disconnect from everybody and everything that's pulling on you and requiring something from you.
Absolutely.
Let's break it down to layman terms so y'all don't have no excuse for going back to your normal routine and behavior.
Yes, absolutely.
So take 10 minutes for you, pull away from and disconnect from everybody else and get in a quiet meditative space.
Yes.
Okay.
So disconnecting from everything.
Yes.
So that means the phone, probably the TV, everything that could be a distraction to you. And then what happens is with that, a lot of the time, women will say, okay, well, my thoughts kept shifting to something else. I kept thinking about the other things that I need to do.
Right.
So with that, we have to, something that I suggest a lot is journaling. So taking some time to take those thoughts that then are there and then putting them somewhere to be able to sort them out.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a part of self-care, because what happens is we have so much going on through our minds. We have that mental clutter, and sometimes we really can't be effective and productive with other things because we have so much mental clutter up there. So sometimes we need to take time to put those things somewhere else, put them in a journal, or talk them out. Therapy is great, people. To talk those things out, to really make sense out of things, and to figure out how to move forward.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing. So we have, just living in the moment, taking a minute, journaling. Also, something else that can be done is, and I talked about this because I have a Facebook group now called My Brilliant Self-Care Escape. That is it's only for women, and it's for them to, have time to relax. We do relaxation sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's for us to really hold each other accountable to taking better care of ourselves. But something else that I suggest, especially if you have children and you are a working mom, so you go out there and, you're grinding it out and you're working all day, is that, even before you come home, and it doesn't have to be every day, but even before you come home, that you're taking some time, maybe just to get ready to shift into that next gear. And so something I had posted yesterday was that, on my way home, because I'm only 7 minutes away. My office is 7 minutes away from my house. I stopped in the shopping center. I went to Panera Bread. I got me something to eat, and I sat in the parking lot and ate my food before I went home. So that was probably only like 10 or 15 minutes. But then, I went home, and then I was good for my family when I got in the house, because I went from, working all day, seeing 9 clients in a row, to, then taking a moment for myself to breathe. And then, I knew as soon as I walked in the door, the kids, they was like, hey, mommy, let me show you this.
Now you're a second job, girl. I know, I'm the same way.
So, and a lot of people, they feel guilty about taking self-care, taking some time to themselves. So a lot of women, that's something that they say is like, but, it's so much to do, or people need me. And it's like, well, when we take that time, we're better for our families.
Yeah.
We're better for them when we take time for us. And so, so I took that minute, and I was good when I got there, because what I used to do was sit in the driveway at my house, but then the kids found me. Yeah. So I really didn't get it.
They're like, mommy, we see you in the car. We see you.
Exactly. Like, you coming in? What's going on?
Well, I love it. I love it. So to recap what I'm hearing you say, it's number one, live in the moment. You said, repeatedly take moments. Like, don't feel like everything has to be so big and grandiose. Just take the moments, the little bitty itty moments sometimes, and then take quiet time, meditative time for yourself, unplug and disconnect from everything and everyone that's pulling on you and distractions. And then you talked about journaling so that you eliminate mental clutter so that you can be in a space of clarity, because none of us can move forward in any type of wellness if we are not clear. If there's any type of lack of clarity, then there's going to be a space of confusion. And it's so funny that you talked about the car thing, because I have here, sit in the car and finish listening to that song that you was jamming to, right? Like sometimes we just always rush into the next thing, rushing. So whether it's finishing that little sandwich that you had, or listen to that jam that you heard from back in the old days, the oldies but goodies, and you're like, I love this song. But you know, because you know when you walk into that door now, whatever your role is, you're switching that hat and you're going into the next role. Another couple things that I wrote to help is for women, my women who are in business. And Leona says, yes, I teach mothers the same thing. I call it a mommy break. Yolanda, welcome so much. Yolanda Harvey Watkins says, that's your mom.
Yes.
Hey, mom.
Hey, mommy.
Self-care is so important for our own mental health. So another thing I wrote down is for your business owners, create business boundaries. Because one of the things that was stressing me the heck out was that I created an expectation that I would respond to people all hours of the night, any time of day. You could text me, message me, email me, and you were going to get a response. Well, if I create that expectation, then you're going to continue to follow and flow in that expectation. So I had to set up boundaries and say, you know what? Reasonably, I will respond to emails between the hours of 9:30 to about 5:30 because my kids are in school, this is happening or that's happening. But after that, I want to be with my family, with my children, or enjoying my own me time. So setting business boundaries, that's critical. Another thing I put for my self-care is the gym. So you guys know I've been on my health and wellness journey this year. I've released 41 pounds. Okay, I might have picked up like 3 more when I went to Africa because I ate everything, but right around like 40 pounds, right? We're still there. The gym releases so much stress for me. Absolutely. I went to the gym last night. It was like 8:30, and I don't typically go that late because my husband works at night. But I was like, babe, I gotta get this in because I just felt so overwhelmed. I was like, I gotta release this, and I went and I did my little 60 minutes on the treadmill, and I was good. I came back home fired up, like, all right, now what need to be done, right? I felt like a boxer. So for some of you, it's going to be going to the gym. Here's a big one. Say no. Say no to some folks.
Yes.
Say no, I can't do it.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not going to do it. Absolutely. No, I'm not coming to the event.
Yes.
No, I'm not cooking no fried chicken. I'll stop at Popeyes and break Popeye. Right? It is okay to say no. No is a full, complete sentence. No, period. You don't have to give an explanation, but start incorporating some no's into, I even sometimes tell my kids, no, I'm tired and mommy's not doing that today. You know why? Because I give myself credit for everything that I do all week long. I rip and run. Every day I take my kids to school. Every day I pick my kids up from school. Whatever they want, wherever they want to go. They, it's 3 kids want three different meals. I'm going to 3 different restaurants to get something. Really? Sometimes I just say no. No, I'm not going. Absolutely. No, I'm not doing that. Holla at your mama tomorrow. All right, so sometimes say no. Here's another thing for you mommies and parents. Eat out. Don't be afraid. You are not a bad mom because you don't cook. Hunty, will pizza fill them up? Will they be, as long as they're not hungry, don't worry about the little itty bitty minute things. I found that it's either time or money. Yes. It's going to be one or the other, right? Sometimes I'm going to spend the money and buy a meal out, eat out. We're going to go eat pizza or a restaurant, and I'm going to spare myself that time of having to go to the grocery store, drag the groceries into the house, cook the meal. Now I got served the meal. Look at here. We're going to order some pizza tonight.
Absolutely. That's right.
And then sometimes little things like just going shopping alone. Yes. Because I used to feel so guilty when I would go shopping, and I'd be like, oh, but this is my time to spend with my kids. So now I got the 3 kids with me, and they driving me insane at the store. Because my sons, they full of energy. They ripping and running. And I'm trying to dress, find a dress. Yes. They stressing me out, and I end up with nothing because I was so frustrated.
Exactly.
So something as simple as, you know what? Mommy's going to go shopping for 2 hours by herself. I'll holler at y'all later. I'm telling you, I'm a different woman because of that.
Absolutely.
So that's my little 2 cents. That's what helps me to maintain my sanity, because you guys always are inboxing me or DMing me saying, Cheryl, how do you keep it all together? You traveling the world as a speaker and a coach. You got your husband. You're nurturing your marriage. You got 3 kids who are in sports and all this kind. How do you keep it together? All these things I just mentioned, in addition to what Dr. Valika just shared with us. So as we wrap up, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more, if they want to be a part of the Facebook group? Give them all of your contact information, and if there's anything you have coming up, and then we'll close out.
All right. So the easiest way to get in contact with me is drvalikamore.com. So drvalikamore.com. The Facebook group is My Brilliant Self-Care Escape. So you can type that right in the search bar of Facebook. The number to our office is 240-712-1221. The name of the practice is Empowerment Through Expression, Mind Spa, and Therapy Practice.
All right, so if you don't remember all of that, Google her. I'm sure she is Google-licious, as we say here on the show, drvalikamoore.com. You can connect with her, look her up on social media. I'm sure you'll find her all over the, the whole universe of the digital world. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for the tips that we need. Like, we need this in our space. So I don't care what you call it, therapy, mental health, mental wellness, get you some of it.
Absolutely.
Right? So that you can keep your mind right, so that you can be clear, you can be focused, laser focused on what you have to do in the world and how you can show up in your full greatness. Dr. Valika Moore, we're going to take a brief break for just about a minute, and we're going to come back with our next guest, Anita Washington. We'll be right back.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Time is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah, I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Cause we're gonna make some declarations in here today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Hey, yeah. We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, that's so funny. We're in the studio getting pumped up, y'all. I'm like, blast the music, turn it up, Ron, turn it up. All right, so again, we got to thank Tammy Turner, who, again, wrote and produced and performed that song, Playtime is Over. You can connect with her on social media. Just Google Tammy Turner. Look for her on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and you can actually get a copy of that song. She actually has CDs that if you want to jam like we jam, then we want you to jam with us. Before we move on with introducing our next guest, I want to thank our platinum partners who helped to make this show possible. Cherie M. Good, who is the founder of the annual Recharge Health, Wellness, and Fitness Expo up in the Baltimore area. She usually hosts it at Pikesville, Maryland. She just had it about, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was phenomenal as always. But she helps to get people on the path of recharging themselves, just like we constantly stop and plug in our batteries and recharge. She's always encouraging you, very much like we were talking with Dr. Valika about your self-care. And so she is the recharge strategist, helping you to learn how to recharge your mind, your body, and your soul. You can check her out on the web at TotalHarmonyEnterprises.com. And last but not least, our other platinum partner, Ludreen Peterson, who you guys hear me talk about all the time. She is, look, her energy is off the chain. I love her. She's always positive. You know how some people are fickle?
Yes.
You know, sometimes they one way, she's not like that. She's very consistent, very positive, very outgoing, very empowering and motivating. And she is a career and business strategist. So she is helping women who are in the career space to take their careers to the next level and to really climb the corporate ladder, especially as it pertains to people who are in the government space. I think she went from like a G1, I don't know what the numbers are, but like the basic, the lower, to all the way to the top, just through certain strategies. And now she coaches people and shares those strategies for others who want to really climb in the corporate space. You can check her out at do-it-delivers.com. do-it-delivers.com. Yeah, Minister Alfreda says, hi ladies in red. PTIO, playtime is over. Yes. Robin Bennett says playtime is over. Melvin Thomas, thanks for being here. Yes, lady in red. Yeah, ladies in red. All right, so let me go ahead and introduce our next guest. Her name is Anita Washington. She pumped up too. She already hyped, y'all. She hyped. Well, I ain't even start. I ain't even introduced her yet. She whoop whoop. I love it. So Anita Washington here to my left is the host of the TV show That Anita Live and the Emotional Happiness Podcast, which provides a platform for women to learn. I love this. Learn, laugh, and more importantly, heal emotionally by learning from the challenges and the successes of others. A former school and community agency counselor and creator of the 7-Step Method, Anita has helped guide people from the ages of 11 to 50 through their own life issues, personal transformations, and professional endeavors. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And before we get started, let me say congratulations on releasing the 41 pounds.
Yes, honey. We'll clap for that every show.
I need you to stop packing it up and sending it to me.
She's like, don't know. And that's why I always say to release it instead of losing it, because when you release it, it's gone. I don't want to lose it because I don't want to find it again. And it is a challenge to stay focused, especially once you give yourself a little bit of permission to kind of go to which I did in Africa. So I'm still trying to get back fully 100% on track. I'm like, look here, Cheryl, get your mind right.
You're doing it because tomatoes and cucumbers.
Yeah,
while I was sitting there eating a hamburger and fries.
But see, I didn't post the piece of Popeye's chicken I had the day before that, and I had a really good laugh with some of the people who were in one of my groups, and I was like, y'all, can I confess? Like, I'm confessing. I had a piece of Popeye's chicken and biscuit, and it was so good. Like, it was like hallelujah. But then I had to get back on track because I do want, my health and wellness is really important. So thank you for the celebration of that. That helps me to keep going, actually. When I know that people are watching and people are motivated by it, and I get so many inbox messages and so many emails from people saying, oh my God, I'm back in the gym because of you, or I'm eating healthier because I'm watching you, and that makes a difference, and that encourages me, you guys. So it's not just a one-way street, because I have my moments, my days where I'm like, look, I want me a piece of bread and I'm about to bite somebody's head off, but when I get an email or a message or something like that, it's confirmation to just keep pressing forward. It's worth the sacrifice. So I want you to talk about this first tell us more about the That Anita Live show, how you got started, how long you've been doing it, and then talk to us a little bit more about why you're so committed to helping people heal emotionally and how you connected that to the podcast.
Well, initially I got started because I found myself in the entrepreneur space, but I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know how I was to serve. So I began to just help friends of mine and others with putting together videos or content for their websites. And in that, in interviewing them, people begin to say, oh, Nita, you're pretty good at that. Or, I don't know how to answer. Nobody's asked me that before. I said, okay, so maybe this is on the path to. And then the counseling piece, you could say, is my first love. Because I spent over a 10-year period counseling, as you said, people from all the way from 11 up to in their 50s, getting them through their own life transformations. But this way, I get to serve in a bigger way because it's not private in a one-on-one, but it's on a bigger platform.
Yeah. Now that's so interesting that you say that, and I'm going to ask for your input on this. So you use the word counseling. We just had the conversation with Dr. Valika about therapy. So is there a difference between counseling and therapy?
I think there's a difference because in counseling, it's kind of like the gateway, and it helps you to become more self-aware. It may help you with some surface issues that you have, some life issues that you have. But then when you get into therapy, it's more the deep-seated issues.
Do you agree with that, Dr. Valika?
I look at them kind of the same.
Okay. But I like that breakdown. I like the whole, because everybody can't be in therapy. Everybody's not equipped to be a therapist.
Well, see,
you know what I mean? I think it's a deeper.
Nita's not doing schizophrenics and bipolar.
Right.
Dr. Valika, on the other hand.
You do that. Yeah,
See?
yeah,
So
it is
it's
deeper.
yes.
Yeah. I think it's deeper too. I like the word counseling a little bit more. I'm like, girl, I can give you a little counseling, but I can't give you no therapy. I can't help you that deep. I don't go that deep.
Right.
So I do think that there is. I like the distinguishing mark between the two because sometimes that gets confusing in the marketplace. People are like, oh, they're looking for one thing, but really, no, you're not looking for that. You're looking for something deeper. Yeah.
Yes.
So you say that's your first love. How did that become your first love? You know how sometimes people say, well, it found me. Did it find you, or did you start on a journey and you were detoured?
No, yes, started on a journey, but the journey started when I was very young because I was always that kid that people came to for advice or to ask how to do something, how to carry something out, especially if it was a difficult conversation. Hey, Nita, how can I tell my mom this happened?
Wow.
Or how can I, explain to my family that I don't feel that way, or I don't want to follow that path, I want to follow this path. Even if it was something as simple as, I grew up in the South, and in the South, HBCUs are one on the list. And a lot of parents said, you can go where you want to, but my money going to state.
Wow.
So it was a big discussion, especially families that are heavy in football.
Yeah.
How do you tell your parent that you don't want to go to the family legacy HBCU?
Wow.
And those are the types of conversations that we were having at like 15 and 16 years old. And it was generally what I told them to break that down to their parents, that at least put the conversation on the table. I can't say convince them to change their mind.
Right. But that's the start, is putting the conversation,
on
the table, as you say. So it sounds like it really was as I call it here, a God-given gift that you finally decided to leverage and monetize. Right? Like, yes. I think all of us have that thing that we are innately, inherently just gifted to do. And to everybody else, it looks so hard. But for us, it's like, yeah, just do it.
And a lot of the times we take it for granted because it comes so easy.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Because initially, I went to college, got the degree in counseling, began to counsel in schools as well as in community agency, and I kind of got bored with it. I said, okay, well, Nita, this isn't working. This isn't your it. When essentially it was my it. It's just that it was so natural to me that I didn't recognize it as such.
All right, so that leads me to another question then, because we could have a whole conversation either on this topic or about. I feel like the two are crossing into business too. So how did you rediscover the passion or the energy and excitement for it if you kind of got bored with it? Because I think a lot of our viewing audience, our listeners, this will resonate with them, because sometimes you do something and you do it so well, it seems easy to you, it's not challenging. You're just like, girl, I just do it. I just get on stage, I just do it. I don't know how.
Well,
right?
Because like I said, and I went to college, got the degree, counseled for a number of years, and then I burnt out, transitioned into contracts. But even in doing the contract, whether it was my work environment or my friends that kept asking those questions, I was still always in some way attached to it.
Yeah.
Then when I got into the entrepreneurial space to figure out what my purpose was and how could I serve on a bigger platform, but with owning my own time instead of being an employee, asking the questions, interviewing friends, the questions that I was asking were the questions that were connected to their emotions. The questions that I was asking was connected to how they could serve the world, not necessarily where their money was located. And it just naturally came back. So as I began to build the show and interview people, I really haven't had a tough time searching for or finding guests, which I hear is very odd or difficult, but because they seek me out. No, based on the questions that I ask, they understand that I can relate to and I can speak their language. As you said earlier, in layman's terms. So I can be that connection or that gateway between the person that is the deep-seated emotional therapist and the person that has never had an introduction to mental health.
Got it. So I'm going to piggyback on that because I know I'm connected with a lot of business owners, and I do know that sometimes you can have a natural gift and you kind of lose the oomph for it, especially after you've been in it for several years, right? And so from my perspective, to piggyback, I think one of the biggest things, the best things you can do for yourself is to keep yourself surrounded with other people who are energized by what they do. Because there's something about energy that is so contagious. And I find, because I've gone through my own phases of, okay, do I really want to still do this? Because I get bored easily, like very easily. And I'm like, okay, time for the next thing. So number one, I keep doing things that challenge me to play bigger and to do things that are uncomfortable and unfamiliar. That keeps the interest alive. And number two, I try to stay very connected to people who are just like fired up about what they do, because I'm like, dang, I remember I used to feel like that. Now I get a little more pep in my step, and I'm energized and I'm excited. So when they say that your inner circle and your associates matter, you got to take a hard look at who is in my circle. Or are they keeping me energized? Are they energized? Or are they just kind of humdrum and like, oh, I'm just going through the motions? My husband came home with this quote. He's so funny because he'll be like, babe, I got a quote you can use in one of your speeches. I'm like, thank you, babe, I'll take that for free. But so he comes home the other day and he's like, all right, you ready? You ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. So he says, you ain't tired, you uninspired. I was like, oh, shucks. And we dancing, having it. But you got to have people who know that you need a certain energy to do what you do, and they're excited, and that energy literally just kind of flows off of each other. So that's my 2 cents for that conversation and for that question. For those of you who might be in a space where you feel like your energy is dwindling a little bit, put yourself into some new environments. You guys know what I say on Facebook Live all the time, hashtag get on an airplane, go somewhere else, get outside your backyard, get outside of your zip code, go somewhere, some new folks, some new surroundings. I'm telling you, that's why you guys see me always somewhere else, because sometimes in your own backyard, in the airport, yeah. And sometimes in your own backyard, there may be lack. Yeah, so you can give yourself permission to get on an airplane and go and explore new things, new opportunities, new people, new relationships that will help to re-energize you again. So don't abandon your unique gift just because you've lost a little bit of oomph, or chutzpah, as they say. You can get that chutzpah back, and you can get your oomph back. All right, so let's talk about the emotional happiness. So we're talking about the podcast and how you have these women who are coming in and they're talking about things, but you reference your 7-step method. What is the 7-step method? You don't have to give us all of it because I assume people will pay for it. But what is it? Give us like an overview of the 7-step method and how you use that to support people.
Well, the 7-step method is a process that I generally walk women through to help them, 1, become more self-aware, 2, to get happy with themselves, by themselves, and then 3, to begin to heal what they uncovered and what they discovered. Yeah. The first thing that I would have them do is called life mapping. And I like to call it life mapping because once we go through that process, that step, it shows you your life in kind of a terrain, and where you will see your hills and your valleys, you will see your rough spots, and these are some of the things that you have forgotten over the years that you need to now uncover and process so that you can disconnect from the limiting beliefs that experience created.
I love that. That's
the
great.
second step is, I call it track and trace. Because what you're going to do is now you're going to begin to write down your daily life, who you spend your time with.
There we go.
How you feel when you're around those people, what you wear, and how you feel when you wear certain colors or when you wear certain outfits. And then why you make the decisions that you do throughout the day. Once you write all of that down, we can track and trace it back to points on your life map so that we can break that limiting belief down, grind it, and remove it from your life. That helps you to become, 1, more self-aware, but 2, happier, because you can change those decisions that you're making.
I love that. So life mapping, that's a huge piece of it. And then the second part, which I love, track and trace, so that then you can go back and break down those limiting beliefs and what's causing you to make the decisions. And then you can create new decisions and patterns and behaviors that will lead you to what you really want to manifest and create in your life. Because do you agree? I mean, there's a quote that says, whatever you focus on is what expands.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the importance of that and people not focusing so much on what's not happening and what they don't want, but rather focusing on what is happening or what they do want to manifest.
When you focus on what's not happening or what you don't want, you're spending a lot of energy and time tearing it apart, drawing it to you, recreating it, because your mind is seeing that and you're revisioning it over and over and over. where when you concentrate on what you do want, then you begin to come up with the patterns of how do I create that?
Yeah.
And you can put yourself in circles of people who are actually in the process of creating it, and they will help show you steps that you can use or that you can borrow from them to create the life that you would love to live.
Absolutely. And so is this something that happens overnight?
No. Absolutely not. Actually, I really like for women to take at least 30 days for each step. I know a lot of times they don't like doing that. It depends on where they are in the process. Because within my 7-step method, I have something that is called the 4 stages of emotional baggage. The first stage is formative, and where you may be going through a life-altering situation, divorce, loss of a loved one, moving away. When you go through that, your emotions, your body also experiences that as kind of a trauma. You feel those negative emotions that are attached to that. You can get stuck there. That's where those limited beliefs are forming. Now, what I have for the second stage of emotional baggage is called burying, because we get so busy with life. You get your kids, you get your job, you got your girlfriends you're running with, you may have your side hustles that you're running with, and in that you begin to bury everything that happens, all of the limiting beliefs, because the number one word is, I don't have time to deal with that right now. I ain't got time to deal with that right now. You have to move on to something else, because you got to make that money. You got to put a roof over your head, and your kids need your attention.
Yes.
But then my favorite, that third stage is called the pivotal stage. And that's where people get to a point where they're like, it all goes down in the DMs. I'll get a DM that says something to the point of, Nita, I'm not happy, and I'm tired of living the same life over and over and over. When I see you are doing what you want to do when you want to do it. It's because that's a conscious and intentional decision that I make. That's not by accident. It's not. It doesn't just happen because I get up in the morning.
Right.
And when you get to that pivotal point, it's because you are on a point or a pivot that you're ready to make that change. A lot of people say they want transformation, but they don't want their life to change. Oh, no, you can't change that. Oh, no, I'm not going to move here. Oh, no, I can't change jobs. If you want happiness in your life, it is going to require change.
Y'all hear that? We're going to say that like 4-5 more times. Transformation requires change.
Yes.
Like, it is not possible without change. You have to acknowledge that. And again, taking that and relating that right back to people who are in business and who say they want to succeed, but you don't want to do nothing different. You don't want to sacrifice. You don't want to remove yourself from the things that you need to remove yourself from, including the toxic environments that you're in.
Negative friends that are telling you.
Like that toxicity, again, just like your positive energy is infectious and contagious, so is that toxicity. Like, you can't okay, I'm going to drink just a little bit of the poison, but I hope I'm going to be okay. No, you might fall out on the floor and pass out and die, right? You have to be aware of your environment. So transformation requires change. Yes. Author Roxy Dawson said, this is so incredible. Rose Golick says, yes, #change. Okay, continue.
Okay.
So the pivotal stage was number 3.
Yes. And that last stage, in which I hope that you all never get to, is called deathbed regret. Because so many times I have sat on the arm of a chair in a hospital room where the person that is on the gurney or in the bed wants the younger relatives to go out and find that son that they didn't support or that daughter that they didn't acknowledge, to come back to that bedside for them to say they're sorry. Because they're experiencing and going through that deathbed regret. Don't wait until it's too late to make up or create the life that you would love to live. And that includes acknowledging past failures and mistakes. So if you do have a child out there, if you do have relatives out there that you are disconnected from, don't want to talk to, and it's now coming within you that you want to make that right, reach out to them. Don't wait until the last minute to say, I have a son. I've never acknowledged him. He doesn't have my name. I didn't support him when he was younger. To send your nieces and nephews out into the world to find this human being, to drag them back to your bedside so that you get a chance to say you're sorry. Yeah,
man, that's really powerful. And I think a lot of times people wait until that last minute because of a fear of rejection. And they're fearful that if I reach out, I may get rejected. But it's not even about the rejection or the acceptance. It's about, I believe, the freedom, freeing yourself from whatever it is that's been hovering over your head before you get to the deathbed stage. So repeat for us number 1, because I missed number 1 again.
Number 1 was formative.
Formative. Okay, got it. And then, so again, I'm going to repeat this for you guys. This is so good. Formative is number 1. Number 2 is burying. Number 3 is the pivotal stage where you're on that pivot. And number 4 is the deathbed regret, which is where we don't want, none of us want to get to that place where we're regretting anything. Life is too short for regrets. Like, do it, get it out of the way, apologize, say it, try it, whatever it is.
And now
go
more than
for
ever,
it.
you got more than enough resources to be able to create the type of life you want, and where you can have dinner cooked in less than 5 minutes. You can drive out to your local gym, and where previously or in history, people had to actually buy that equipment and have it shipped to their homes and then put together. Everything now is so much easier for us to do.
Yeah, so no excuses. Plain and simple. There is really no excuse for you
Playtime
not
is
to
over.
live. Playtime is over. There's no excuse for you not to manifest the reality that you want. I love how you have this broken down into your 7 steps, which again, we got 2 of those 7 steps, which is the life mapping and the track and trace, and then this 4-part piece, which is, again, it makes it so, it compartmentalizes it, where it's just easy to understand and it's easy to follow, and it helps people to realize, like, you control what's happening in your world. You control it. Like, no outside or external influence is going to, you get to make the final decision. Even when you're facing challenges and you're on this road to wanting to discover happiness and emotional healing, right? Of course, there's going to be some challenges, there's going to be some setbacks, but you get to decide how you're going to react to it or respond to it, right? Not react, but respond to it, and what you're going to do to move beyond it. So a lot of times people will be in challenge mood and they'll focus so much on the challenge that they cannot get out of their own way and get clarity about the solution. So you have to be willing to get out of your own way, get that clarity that we talked about earlier with Dr. Valika, and just know, how am I going to laser focus on the solution so that I manifest what I want versus continuing to repeat this cycle of what I don't want.
Over and over.
Over and over again. This is good stuff. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't expect to get this filled off of this session, but I'm glad that we had this conversation. So how can people reach out to you? How can they connect with you? You have a group on Facebook too?
I have a group on Facebook called Hope and Healing.
I love it. Hope and
But
Healing.
let me mention that for all of Cheryl's followers and listeners, you can download my free ebook, absolutely free. Go to beatemotionalbaggage.com. That's beatemotionalbaggage.com, and you can download the free ebook there. All this information is in there for you to walk through, read,
I love it.
digest.
Can somebody type that in the feed on Facebook? Beat, B-E-A-T, emotionalbaggage.com. You can get the free ebook. Beat, emotionalbaggage.com.
And if you're looking for me online, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, it's all under that Anita Live.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Juicy stuff. Share this out, guys. Share this out for those of you who are watching us through voxwave.com. Anita Washington, the host of That Anita Live television show and the Emotional Happiness podcast. Keep doing what you're doing. Again, I can't emphasize this part that I love about helping women to learn, laugh, and heal emotionally. Laughter is good for the soul.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes I just put on a comedy tape just to laugh.
Yes.
I'm like, I ain't laughed in a couple hours. Let me laugh. I just want to laugh because it is truly cleansing and refreshing and good for the soul. So people, I'm sure, will be going over to that website. Yes, thank you so much, Carol, for posting. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, author Roxy, for posting that. BeatEmotionalBaggage.com. Go over and get your free copy of. I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna get one too. I'm just saying, like you never can have two. I'm gonna get my free ebook as well right after this show, so you'll see my name come up in your subscriber list, because we're always students and we're always learning, and there's always, I mean, you never know what you're going to have to deal with emotionally in your life. I've been through divorce before, and I've been through some traumatic things in my life. I've been through bankruptcy in the past, and I mean, there are things that you go through that can traumatize you indefinitely, but when you get access to resources, which you said, we're in this time where you can access resources like never before, it will help you so that you can move forward and not stay stuck in that place, and certainly not get to a place of, what was number four? That deathbed regret. Come on now, y'all. Y'all got some real teachings today. All right, so we're going to take a brief break for just about 2 minutes, and we're going to bring on our next two guests, Leslie Butler and Paula Anderson. So stay with us. Thank you.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection, living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see, yeah. I will reach my destiny, yeah. I don't need your permission, yes, I'm on a mission, I'll win. Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Hey, yeah. We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over.
Y'all heard it. Playtime is over. We are back for our second segment of Impact the World Radio with 2 more phenomenal guests who are in the studio with me live. Hey, before I move on, I got to give a huge shout out to Kern Cherry, all the way from the Gulf Coast, from Biloxi, Mississippi. Kern, are you actually in Biloxi? Anyway, they have this, Kern, along with her business partner, Dorothy Wilson, they host this amazing business conference, women's conference, every year in Biloxi, Mississippi. I had the joy of being their keynote speaker last year. I mean, they have like 500, almost 600 women who come to this event. And let me tell you what the funny part and the special part is. So I was their keynote speaker last year. It was amazing. One of the best speaking engagements I think I've ever had the opportunity to participate in. Guess who's going to be the keynote speaker this year? Just guess. Lisa Nichols, y'all.
Oh,
my coach. So, you know, in my mind, I was like, well, you know, I done laid the groundwork for her to come in and do what she do, right? Because I went, you know, I got them ready for her. So she's actually going to be the keynote speaker at the Success Women's Conference this year in Biloxi, Mississippi, September. It's Thursday and Friday, September 20th and 21st. You can check that out on eventbrite.com. I don't know the exact link, but if Kern is still here and if you want to post that, then I'll make sure I announce that as well. But just got to shout out Kern Cherry and Dorothy Wilson of Success Women's Conference. And, of course, my coach, Lisa Nichols, who is doing phenomenal things. She has impacted like over 30 million people's lives with her unique message. And I'm just saying, I'm trying to walk in those footsteps, right? You got to model somebody. You want to model somebody who's really doing the darn thing, and she is. All right, so let's move on. My next guest is, she has a special place in my heart because she's one of my clients who's been working with me, and I love her energy. We talked about energy a little bit earlier, being contagious, and you got to make sure you're always assessing that. So her name is Paula Anderson, and she is a professional counselor, licensed both nationally and in the state of Maryland. She's the founder and CEO of PACE Consulting and the co-founder of E3 Lifestyle Solutions. In her 11-year entrepreneurial journey, she's helped hundreds of individuals with their mental wellness, as well as assisting couples and having strong, vibrant, and healthy relationships. To that end, Paula is passionate in helping startup and emerging female entrepreneurs find their courage to take the leap into entrepreneurship. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cheryl.
So you do a whole lot. You just multi-talented.
Girl.
So I asked the other two guests, I asked Dr. Velika and I asked Anita. It seems like we really have this theme going on through the show about mental wellness and health. And so did it find you or did you find it? Was it something natural? How did you get started in this journey?
Well, thank you for asking.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I just love being around you because your energy is awesome.
Your energy, y'all. Check your energy.
Yes, it's awesome. So I would say both. So I would say, mental illness runs, is in my family. And definitely when I was in school, it wasn't a path that I thought I was going to take. I thought I was going to become a lawyer.
Wow.
And but God just had a different path for me. And
isn't that funny?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And I applied to law schools, and he was like, nope,
Wow.
not happening. And the first counseling program I applied to, I got in.
See what I'm saying? Like, that's just, you've heard that saying that sometimes rejection is protection.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, sometimes he's closing the door, like, look, daughter, I don't want you to go through that way. Let me take you over here because this is where you really belong. And sometimes we be beating the door down. No, God, I want to go through this way. I want to go. And he is like trying to guide you and direct you. And sometimes we don't want to listen. So I'm glad you listen because clearly you've been called to do this work, not perhaps what you were trying to do on your own.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So tell us about the start. How did you really get started once you applied? And
so, I went to, applied, got into grad school, did a 3-year program, and started working in schools. So I did that for about 8 years. And I would say at the end, maybe about the 6th, 7th year, I started experiencing burnout. I was.
I'm telling you, know what? You, Dr. Velika, and Anita, y'all need to do some kind of something together. I just see a collaboration happening. I'm telling, don't y'all? Based on what we talked about, it's a collaboration coming.
Yeah.
And this was meant to be that everybody stayed. Typically, my guests don't stay in the studio. It's a reason that this is happening. Like I'm telling you, I feel like that's divine connection. Okay, continue. Sorry.
So so definitely experiencing burnout. I had 2 kids by that point, and I was definitely irritable. Found myself coming home to my husband, my poor husband. I was just irritable, just not myself, just not happy. And I just decided, I was like, I have to do something different. And for me, self-care is important. And for me to leave that stressful environment was a form of self-care.
Yes.
I left with no plan. Actually, I started a business that had no plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just came home and told my husband, I'm leaving. Not him, but the job.
Yeah, no, we gotta keep the husband around.
We gotta keep the
somebody
husband
got to pay the bills. Somebody got to, okay, not just pay the bills, but I'm just saying somebody had to pay the bills.
Well, he did when I left. So anyway, and literally, like for the first, I would say 6 to 12 months of starting the business, I was working out of Panera Bread because I had no office space, I had no plan. I just started working because I knew I had to do something different, and that's what happened. And that was the birth of.
But I love that you said something that's so powerful that's just resonating in my spirit is that you walked away. That was a form of self-care for you. Do you know how many women I coach and talk to and counsel, if you will, who they just stay stuck in a space where they're miserable, in a space where they're not appreciated. They're, everything is just telling them to get out and they will not leave. And I think sometimes because they're afraid to take, as I like to say, place all bets on you. Like sometimes you gotta just place the bets on you, and you gotta put some skin in the game, and you gotta be willing to fail and fall flat on your face before you can move forward. Like that's what it takes. So I love that you acknowledge that you did that as a form of self-care, so that you could get yourself right and get your mind right, right?
Exactly.
Because when you're under stress, and they stressing you out, and it's stressing you out, whatever it may be, you can't think clearly. You can't move forward because you can't get the clarity that you need, the mental clarity. So I love that. So we're going to shout out your husband. You want to say his name? Here's the camera. You want to shout him out. I know he in the studio.
Honey. This is my husband,
Hey, honey.
Anderson, of 20 years.
Woo! Woo! That deserves a clap. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Because don't you agree that when we do take those risks
yes.
and we take those leaps, like sometimes, I know we say we just leap and we figure it out, but honey, somebody usually in the background helping us to figure that thing out and keeping things together. So for me, it's been my husband. Shout out to you, James Wood. It's been my husband because when I was the same way. I walked away from corporate because I was like, I didn't want to get to the deathbed regret that we talked about. I didn't want to be like, oh, I stayed on that job in that cubicle that I hated for so long because I was too afraid to take a chance and take a risk because I was so addicted to direct deposit. Now, that's a beautiful thing. Can we get a well for direct deposit? Yes, but I knew there was greater for me.
Exactly.
But the reality was, it was hard. It was a tough decision to make. Yes, I needed it for my mental health and my sanity and not to have regrets. But my husband ended up being one of my biggest cheerleaders, even though he didn't understand the journey initially, because I wasn't making no money initially. Can we talk about that?
Yes, you can.
Can we have real talk about the journey of making a decision? Making a decision to pursue the thing that you believe is your purpose.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that you said making no money, because literally, like when I left, I then decided to join a psychologist practice. And due to insurance issues, I didn't get paid for the first 4 to 6 months being in her practice.
Yeah.
And so, again, my poor husband.
You're like, babe, I got a job, but it ain't paying.
And literally, at the point where I was like, I don't know, what did I just do?
Yes.
What did I just do?
Yeah.
And I have my kids were 3 and 7 at the time. They were babies. And literally, when I started asking myself a question, a contract came through a friend, and then that was the beginning and of Pace Consulting really taking off.
Yeah, so earlier we were talking about the whole mindset and the mind transformation. So what were you telling yourself through that period of, if you will, failure? I think failure is just you learning information, right? But what were you telling yourself that kept you, as I say, crazy glue committed to your bigger dream of not only self-care but also whatever you wanted to manifest? What were you telling yourself daily?
I think, prayer. I was definitely praying. Please, God, please.
God, just send a check. God, just send a check.
Definitely talking to my husband and my friends, had my support network. But then just really thinking, God, you didn't bring me here to leave me.
Yes.
You didn't bring me here to just be poop, no, this is not going to work.
Absolutely.
And just really trusting in that. And I think for me, I've become an avid book reader. So just reading books that has really helped me with my mindset and just to know that, you can do this. You got to persevere. It's not going to be easy.
Right.
You knew that when you left and with no plan.
Right.
That it wasn't going to be easy and that you just got to keep on this trajectory because it's going to work out. So.
Yeah, I tell people all the time when I walked away from my corporate job.
Yeah.
And I was making great money, considering I was a girl who grew up in the hood. I didn't have a college degree. I was making good money. I was okay. And I walked away and decided to rock the boat, but man, I got through some tough times where my husband and I hit financial rock bottom, and I was like, for real, God, this ain't what I signed up for. Right. And it was the daily mental talk that kept me moving through that. It was waking up and saying, Cheryl, you deserve to have an amazing life.
That's
Cheryl,
right.
You are a magnet for success. You're a magnet for greatness. The world is waiting on you. You got to keep showing up until this thing shows up. And sometimes it seems odd because what you're saying out of your mouth doesn't match the reality that you're predicting, right? So it seems weird. It seems crazy. Why am I saying this stuff, but that ain't manifesting right now? And that's where the faith comes in. It's like a faith walk. Right?
Yes.
It's a faith walk for you to keep showing up when it doesn't look the way you are thinking that it's going to look, want it to look, and are speaking that it's going to look. But that's when consistency, as you mentioned, comes into play. That's when a lot of things, visibility, consistency, connecting with the right people. Talk about your inner circle. You mentioned your husband and his support. So let me ask this first, and then talk about that. Did your husband think you were cray-cray?
He did.
Yeah. He did. And how did you manage that? He was like, I wasn't planning on being a topic of conversation, but we got to have that conversation because there are a lot of people who are with us here and watching through Vox Wave, and that's a real topic. They want to pursue their dream, but their spouse is not on board. How did you guys work through that space?
And I wouldn't say he was on board. I wasn't on board. I would just say he was like, have you really thought about this? Is this something that you think is going to work? Have you really? And I'm like, no, I really haven't thought about it, but I believe in the end it will work. And I think for him, my husband is incredible because because he just wants to make sure I'm happy and healthy. And he saw that I wasn't neither. I wasn't happy nor healthy, and it was really causing me to a lot of stress. And, you know, and I'm just want to pause and just say thank you for bringing mental health people here on in May, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
I learned that today. I'm just saying, I learned a whole lot today.
Yeah, and so like the stress is real.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, women, you know, we suffer stress more than men. And you know, if I don't take care of myself, then, you know, my marriage goes to the wayside. My kids, my poor kids, you know, they go to the wayside. So I just thank you for just acknowledging that. But yeah, the stress is real, and he didn't think that it was a good idea at first, but he was supportive, and he was like, whatever you need, babe, I got you. So
yeah, and that again goes back to our conversation that we had with our previous two guests about knowing and setting boundaries. And you have to know you, because sometimes the spouse or the partner or whoever it is, they can't read your mind, number one. So you have to be willing to create boundaries to say, this, what I'm doing right now is not healthy.
That's
and
right.
it's not happy.
That's
That's
right.
what you just said.
That's right.
You said I wasn't healthy and I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to stand up and say,
Yeah.
I've got to set the boundary that I deserve to be healthy and I deserve to be happy. And this right here is not doing it for me. So that means I've got to explore something different, even though it feels uncomfortable for both of us. Because I went through the same process with my husband. My husband thought I was cray-cray. He thought I had lost my mind. He was like, hold up, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this. He was like, wait a minute, I married a girl who had a job and benefits. And now you talking about you gonna go do what? You gonna pursue what? Oh, you gonna talk to people and they gonna pay you for that. That is my husband thought I was cray, because he couldn't really see the vision, because I mean I was still a little cloudy on the vision.
Right.
And that's where the support and the understanding from the spouse comes in, and that's why we're shouting out our spouses, because you stuck with us even when you thought we were cray-cray, right?
Yep.
Now I tell people, my husband be like, when you gonna fly again, girl?
Exactly.
Girl, when you next speaking engagement, girl? When you gonna get that check? He likes the checks that come in. Yes. So it all pays off and it all works out with consistency. So what were some of the things that you were most consistent with as you were going through your season of figuring it out, the doubt? I'm sure you had some fears. You can talk about some of your fears.
Yes.
But what were the things that you were consistent? You was like, I must continue to do these things.
I would say definitely networking.
That's good.
That was huge for me, because, you know, here I am, and for 8 years I was working. So, you know, I just knew the people that I worked with, but I knew if I had to expand and grow, I had to meet different people, come across different opportunities.
Absolutely.
And in networking, I definitely have found my mentor. And my mentor kind of took my business to a whole other model, to a different place, and we can talk more about that. But the networking for me was important, just being consistent in that. And I think just being excellent at what I was doing, like producing excellent work.
Hello. Like, you can't be a hot mess and think that you're going to last in business. Like, you really have to make excellence your norm. And so it doesn't matter what level you start at. It's so funny. So you guys know now I host the Playtime is Over conference. It's an annual conference.
Awesome.
We get, 250, 300 women who come from all across the world to come to this conference. Last year we had women from London and Canada, right?
That's awesome.
And it's beautiful and it's great. And now we have these big names. Dr. Heavenly came and was our speaker, and Cheryl Lee Ralph and Mickey Taylor of Essence Magazine. That's beautiful. But I love taking people back, because I'm like, it didn't start there.
Right.
It didn't start with this. Like, it started in a little itty bitty room with me and like 10 people and being in a space of excellence in the small beginnings, so that then could expand into the bigger. So I think you have to be really conscious and aware of how you are handling what you've already been given. How are you handling the small beginnings? So that when you get to the bigger and God blesses and, you manifest what you've been talking about, thinking about, journaling about, then you can truly be a faithful steward over the much.
That's right.
But a lot of y'all in business. Y'all hear me? Not business, you in business. And we need to stop that and be in real business. Be about your business. Be a person who is committed to excellence. Make that your norm. Always show up when you say you're going to show up. Honor your word. Like, all of those things that you're talking about, being consistent, showing up, networking, finding a mentor, getting the things that you need to help you go to the next level in your business, and take it seriously. Because maybe only 2 people know you right now, but if you stick with it, that thing will be blessed, and people talk. Don't they talk?
Oh, yeah.
So how do you get most of your business?
Through referrals.
Hello. People talk.
Yeah, through referrals. I mean, most recently, through our website, but I would say it's all of my beginning contracts have been through referrals.
And who's sending them to the website? Probably it's somebody who heard about you or worked with you or whatever, and they're telling them you need to go check her out.
Absolutely.
And so it's a lot of, I know a lot of businesses, especially service-based businesses, are based on a lot of referrals. That word of mouth is and the relationships. It's everything. So if your standard is always excellence, no matter how small, then I think that just continues to grow with you.
Yes.
So what were the fears that you had to work through? What were your biggest fears? Because there's a lot of fears that people have in their journey.
So many.
and let me ask this two-part question. So what are your biggest fears? And then I know that you work with female entrepreneurs, helping them to find their courage to lead. What are the biggest fears that you are approached with, or you find kind of as a common theme amongst women entrepreneurs?
I would say, my biggest fear was that it wasn't going to last. Like I was, I would say just failing, just not finishing what I started. So that's a big thing for me. Like I want to finish what I started. And I thought I was the fear was like, you're not going to finish what here you are, saying you would start this business and everybody's watching you and now you ain't going to do it. It ain't going to work. And so that was one. And then the financial piece was huge for me too. Like, is this really going to produce the results? Is it going to replace the salary that I just left?
Am I going to be broke, busted, and disgusted for a long time?
So those were my fears, and I would say with the people that that come to me, in terms of entrepreneurship, their fear is like just starting. I think that their fear is right where I was, where I do have just like you, I have this 5-figure or 6-figure job, and then I'm trying to leap into something, the unknown. Like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? And so just kind of what we talked about, something, you just got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. Whatever that is, you just got to do it. Because if you keep waiting on time, it's not going to happen.
But isn't that beautiful how you were the student and now you're the teacher? Like, isn't that beautiful? Like, I tell people all the time, like, if you ain't been through nothing, you can't tell me nothing. It's just as plain and simple as that. So when you're going through, this is for everybody who's going through right now. You're going through whatever you're going through in the beginning phases of your business, your journey, your dream. Like, you need to embrace the crap you're going through right now.
That's right.
Because it is going to become the very thing that you're going to stand on and leverage to help somebody else, to teach somebody else.
Yes.
You can't tell me nothing if you don't know what it feels like to be broke. You can't tell me nothing if you don't know what it feels like to grind for a dream and ain't nobody giving you a door, opening a door for you. You can't tell me nothing if you ain't never had you had to hide your car. Because they about to come and repo that thing because you ain't got no job no more because you thought that people loved you when you were free. See, people love you when you're free. When I was a free speaker, they loved me. And as soon as I put a price tag on it, it was like crickets. What? Wait a minute, where everybody else? So now your finances are affected. Now you parking the car around the corner because you scared it's going to be... Like, if you ain't been through that kind of stuff, you can't teach me nothing.
That's right.
You can't help me elevate and go to my next level. So I encourage every client, the mess you going through, baby, that thing is juicy. That turns into your message and your testimony. So that now you can not only talk about it, but you can empathize and you can understand where the people that you're working with, where they've been. Because I can't empathize if I've never been in your shoes. I can say, oh, I hope it gets better. I can say, oh, that's bad, that's sad, but I can't empathize because I never experienced it personally. That's just the truth.
True. It's true.
So now you, who wants the student, now you the teacher. Now you can empathize with every person who comes in and they're scared and they're ready to walk away from the job because oh my God, I can't. I'm not happy and I'm not healthy. But my husband think I'm cray because I'm talking about walking away from the job.
And I can be like, I was right there.
Exactly. And now that makes you a better coach, a better counselor, a better supporter, a better mentor, everything. I mean, it seriously positions you to make huge, that's what we're talking about on the show, impact in the world. How do you make, it's a unique fingerprint. Nobody don't have my DNA. Nobody has your DNA and what you've experienced personally. So you're going to specifically help a segment of the population based on what you've been through and based on what you've overcome. It's a powerful thing, right?
Yes.
Amen. Well, so if you were to wrap up and kind of give us some final thoughts, what are your final thoughts? And then I want you to talk a little bit about your marriage coaching program in just a moment. But what would be your final encouragement to those women who are in that space of fear and doubt and self-limiting beliefs? And they know they want more, they deserve more, they desire it, but they are not taking action.
I would say that, that you you got to understand that you are important, and that no one else is going to take that leap for you. No one else is going to do the work for you, and you got to take, you've got to do the work yourself, because if you don't, it's literally never going to happen. And I have clients that sit before me, and they're at a point of decision, but they don't take the leap because they are afraid. And I'm like, fear is going to keep you right where you are, and you don't want that for your life. You don't want to be 80 years old and be like, man, I wish I could, I should have done. Don't live a shoulda, coulda done life.
Tony Robbins, you guys probably follow him. I'm sure you see his work. He has this quote that I repeat consistently because I live by it. And the quote says, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. And if there is no new action, you have not truly decided.
That's right.
So if you're not in action, stop saying you decided. Stop saying that this is what you really want, because it's not. Because if it's what you really want, you are willing to sacrifice. You're willing to abandon distractions. You're willing to give up for it. You give up some sleep. You give up some money. You give up your job, your good government job. Your benefits. Like, you are willing to sacrifice for that more than you sacrifice for anything. And there's a beauty in just getting started. Like, there's such a beauty in just getting, and not knowing what the path looks like exactly. We talked about this. I think I said this on a Facebook Live. Like, sometimes we trying to create a master plan, but the master plan is the master's plan. And we trying to be in control, and we trying to create the perfect blueprint, and this is how it's going to be executed. And then you get into a bump in the road, and you're like, oh, snap. Oh, what I'm going to do now? Because you were rigid in thinking that it was your plan. It ain't your plan anyway. Like, it's going to detour, and you're going to be thrown off and fall into potholes and be like, oh, Lord, and climb yourself out. But it just makes you that much more valuable for every person that you serve as a result. So keep pressing, like, get started and then keep pressing. Get started, keep pressing, right? Don't let fear keep you hostage to where you don't want to be.
That's right.
So as we wrap up with you and close out, I do want you to talk. You said you wanted to mention something about the mentor and the model, and then I want you to share with people how they can touch base with you, as well as your marriage coaching program.
Okay. I was like, mentor and model. Okay, so
she's like, girl, which one you want me to do
first?
Which one you want me to do
first? So quickly, I would just say, in networking and building relationships, I did find my mentor, and what was interesting is that when I went into the counseling field, I thought I would just be doing the whole couch thing, and you just sit there and talk one-on-one. But I had no idea there was a whole world of contracting out there for mental health professionals, like government contracts that mental health professionals could be a part of, and getting certified, and that expanded my business to a whole other level that I just never knew was out there. So it's good to meet people and have them help you, take you to a space where you never thought you would be.
So good.
Yeah.
Y'all got to write that down, jot that down, share that with somebody. Like, that's so true.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're missing out on until you get around people who are already playing so much bigger than you.
Right.
You're like, what? I didn't even know I could get a contract.
Right.
Exactly. That's so good. So you got to expand your circle.
Yeah.
And go into places where you're uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm going to this big event next week. I can't talk about it because it's that private.
You keep saying that.
I know. I want to share, but I can't. They're like, no, you can't do this, you can't do it. Anyway, but it's like power players. I'm talking real power players. Y'all, I'm so nervous. I'm like, what I'm going to talk about? What I'm going to say? And you know I love to talk. Girl, I'm being up there quiet. Like, how you doing? What you doing? Because I want to learn. I want to gauge. I want to see how y'all making y'all millions and billions. African-American women.
Wow.
How y'all making y'all millions and billions? I need to know some of that, right?
Wow.
So you do have to go into those spaces that are uncomfortable and unfamiliar, and sometimes you don't know what the heck they talking about, but you just take notes and then you go home and you Google it. Oh, they said this word right here. I don't know what that is, but I'm going home.
You told us that one of our coaching programs.
You better make Google your best friend. You better look some stuff up. My kids, I got 10-year-old, 10, 11, and 14. They be asking me for help. You better Google it. I've been out of school for a long time. You better Google that.
Google is your friend. Trust.
Absolutely. So that was a powerful takeaway. And then the marriage coaching program.
Yes. So that, all right. So quickly, and I keep saying quickly, but in my 11-year journey, so I started Pace Consulting, and then I, probably about 5 years ago, I co-founded a company called E3 Lifestyle Solutions, and we host a marriage conference called the Renew and Revitalize Marriage Conference, and we just had our 5th year conference in February.
Huge congrats. Yes.
It was huge, and it was our largest attendance, and Pastor Jenkins was our keynote speaker, and it was just amazing. As a part of the conference, what we do is that we offer coaching, marriage coaching programs, and we just ended one actually last week. And so we decided to do a session 2 starting June 4th. And for people that are interested in it's a 4-week marriage coaching program starting June 4th. They can go to our Facebook page, Renew and Revitalize Marriage Conference, and find the link to Eventbrite right there.
You heard it. Now, your husband does this with you? Or this is like counselors?
Counselors.
Other
counseling
professionals.
Yeah.
Did your husband ever come to the forefront and talk?
Does he ever? Yeah, he does.
He does. Okay, because my husband be like, nah.
Oh no, he
I ain't coming to
MCs
the
our
stage.
conference. He
MCs
every year.
I love it. See, I love it. I'm trying to put my husband to work in my company. I'm just saying. They take a note. Watch this show and take a note. We need you to be working for Cheryl. He always says to me, I don't work for Cheryl Wood & Powers. I'm like, come on, IT man. He does IT. I'm like, can you come fix my computer? I don't work for Cheryl.
I don't work for Cheryl Wood & Powers.
I'm trying to get him to work for Cheryl Wood & Powers. Well, thank you so much. I mean, it's been a privilege, a joy, great content, great takeaways. I know everybody has been blessed. I see all of these notes. I'm over 40. I can't read all the notes and keep up with the conversation. We're going to have to go back and read these notes. Yeah. So, again, share the website one more time.
It's www.pace-consulting.com. That's for the first business. Second business is www.renewandrevitalize.com.
And this will be up on YouTube within the next 24 hours, so you'll be able to go back and watch the entire replay as well as get all the information. Again, Paula Anderson, thank you so much for being with us. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we're going to be back with our final guest. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we do that, we have a call. Are you sure you're here to ask a question or give a comment? You're on the show. Hello. All right, that's probably somebody. So people dial the number and they think that they're listening to the show, but they're actually calling in. So we're going to take a 1-minute break, and we're going to be back with our final guest, Miss Leslie Butler. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
We have powerful words. We have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work. We're ready to win. We have a strategy, and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection, living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough, and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah, I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh
yeah. It's like when Ron pumps up the music, I sing louder, but when it's low, it's like you mumbling under your breath, right? Because we're going to lead the singing up to Tammy. We're going to lead the singing to Tammy. Again, I got to thank Tammy Turner for that song. We've adopted it as our anthem here on Impact the World Radio. And again, got to give a huge shout out to our platinum partners, Cherie M. Good and Ladrine Peterson. Thank you guys so much. So this final guest, this amazing lady who's next to me, her name is Leslie Butler, and I love her smile. It's just so contagious. I love it. She just seems so happy, and I'm sure she makes people happy because you're going to know why in just a moment. So she's the founder and visionary of the award-winning Holistic Healing Center, In His Hands, Massage Therapy LLC. I said, man, what was I thinking? I should have scheduled her to come in like 30 minutes before so that I could have had a massage. She serves as an LMT. Now, what's an LMT?
Licensed massage therapist.
Okay, licensed massage therapist, certified health coach, and Christian mediation instructor. Meditation instructor. Thank you so much. She is known for her healing touch and passion to help others dominate in their purpose. Her mission is to create a global community that prioritizes self-care by first healing and then maintaining a healthy lifestyle. That is the theme for today.
Yes.
Mental wellness, self-care.
Yes.
With the support of a dynamic team, Leslie is able to make an impact daily in the lives of those striving to live an abundant lifestyle. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So you got the special touch, huh?
That's
so I'm
what
gonna
they say.
ask you the same thing I've asked every guest.
Okay.
Did it find you or did you find it, and how did you get started?
So it found me.
All right.
Which I think is the theme here.
Yeah.
I actually started out in nursing school.
Is that right?
Yes. I went to Norfolk State University.
Wow.
And life kind of happened for me, and I ended up leaving nursing school.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came here, I worked as a medical assistant
Okay.
because I didn't finish,
Right.
so I couldn't get an RN job.
Right.
So I settled for that, and I went to my boss and I said I wanted to make more money. And he said, well, basically, you're at your limit. And that wasn't good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking for other ways to make money, and I just fell upon a website. Literally, I don't even remember typing it in. Came across this website, and in about 2 weeks, I was sitting in class registered in massage therapy school.
Wow. So we call
Yeah.
that you were divinely led to that website.
I
Hello,
absolutely
amen.
was.
Right? Yeah.
Yes,
like when you
absolutely.
can't explain why you end up doing something, you were divine. That was divine orchestration.
Yes.
You were
So
divinely
it
led.
found me, yes.
That is fantastic. I love that. And isn't that amazing how people will tell you you're at your ceiling, and you're like, well, I'm about to go find another ceiling.
I was not satisfied with that.
Yeah, and
at
I
all.
love that. And I
Yeah.
think that's so important for women to understand is that if one place tells you that's the ceiling, you need to go and create or find another ceiling.
Right, absolutely.
That's how I felt on my corporate job. So you guys know I was a legal secretary for 15 years. And, I was only going to go so far because I didn't have a college degree.
Right.
And that was it. I was always going to be stuck in that cubicle.
Right.
Like that was going to be it. And this is going to be the max of your salary. And I'm like, oh, no, it's not going down like that. I knew that there was more I had
Absolutely.
to give. I just didn't know how to leverage it so that I could become more successful and impact more people's lives.
Right.
And so I love women who just take, life and just be like, okay, look, I'm going to make something happen.
Yeah.
So then talk about how you really got started and started in the space where now you have your own healing center.
Yeah, so that trend continued. I think it's just in my blood. It's in my family. We're very ambitious. We're all entrepreneurs. And
Awesome.
when I was in school, a part of the graduation process was we had to create a business plan. And just playing around with it, I created this really dynamic business plan,
Wow.
not even realizing that it was something that I could go and execute.
Wow.
So when I graduated, I did what the business plan said.
How about that? She actually followed the business plan.
And so I never went to get a job. I
Wow.
started a mobile company immediately after graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a part of a network marketing company. So I kind of already had a network. So I just used that network and I grew my brand.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to get no job. I'm going to create my own thing, which is what I preach to my kids constantly. I'm like, now, if you decide to get a job, that's fine. I have nothing against it. But let me let you know that you have options. And I think that's a really good thing. Now, talk about so I work with a lot of women in business, right? And one of the things that we always talk about is valuing your worth so that you are actually making the money that you deserve. You're monetizing at the level that you should. Is that something that you ever struggled with? And then if you did, how did you move beyond that? And I can tell by the smile that you're like, girl,
great
yes.
question. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm smiling so hard because this year was my year of realization
Wow.
for what I was worth.
Girl,
And so-
can we give it up for her, y'all? Ain't nothing like realization about what you worth.
Yeah, because for
Yes.
so long I had, given discounts and the homie hookup and, all of that.
Girl, you
And-
better say it.
And what I saw was my effort, me coming home tired every night, and then my bank account was still empty.
Yes.
And my bills still, barely
Yes.
getting paid. And so sitting down with my business partner, Cody's here with me, my business partner and I.
Shouting out Cody.
And we said, 2018, we're not doing discounts.
That's right.
We've decided that
we know our worth. We know the quality of service that we offer. We have no competition. No one is doing what we're doing. So why are we giving our services away and struggling, you know, in the process?
Right. But you're still tired at the end of the day, like everybody else.
And just like your husband, my husband looking at me the same. So you've been gone how long?
Yes.
Okay, and you still didn't? Okay, so let's do something different.
Yeah.
And so, you know, customers, they pay us what we're worth. And the people that want the hookup and, you know, things like that, if they choose to go somewhere else, we're okay with that now. But it took us this long to get there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
well, I love that this is your year of realization. And look, I tell people all the time, like, you want to shut your husband down, bring home a check. A good check. Bring home a good check. It will shut him down. He won't have nothing to say, right, as you're pursuing your passion. But when you keep showing up broke and you can't contribute to the financial, you know, situation of status of the household, then I'm sorry, I'm going to have an issue with that too. But you've been gone all day.
Right.
And you come home and you just broke, busted, and disgusted still. That's not that's not going to work for our family, for our dynamic.
Attitude.
And you tired and mad and angry, right? And then you take the anger out on the people you love the most, or the family, because you kind of nice to your clients that you done gave the homie hook up to.
Yeah.
But now you come home and bring all of that anger and hostility home. So I love that.
But the other thing was, there are a lot of misconceptions with the massage therapy industry. And so being in this industry, we had to literally separate ourselves and make ourselves different, because there's so many people that are discounting their services and giving it away with a little something extra on the side. And we're not that company. We're in his hand. So we just had to make that distinction and set a new tone, create a new culture.
Absolutely. Everything you're saying is resonating, because I've been there. I've been through that process. I remember in the days when I was like, first of all, I was free for like a whole year as a speaker. Anybody who would have me. I said people loved me when I was free.
Right.
And then I started charging like $200, $300, and I knew I was worth so much more. And I'm like, okay, regardless of what they pay me, I'm going to deliver the same amount of value, right? So I knew that, but it took a long time for me mentally to get to a space where I was okay. I always say, you know, you got to have your hands open so that you can release what no longer belongs there, and you can receive what does belong there. And you have to be willing to walk away and realize everybody's not your customer. Right? And everybody's, and be okay with it. Like, it's okay. You can make that decision that this is not what for you. This is not for you. But you have to set the boundaries. Again, we've talked about that all day, about setting boundaries for self-care, for business, for pricing, everything. You set the boundary and you set what the standard is. And people will take free as long as you give it free. People will take homie hookup as long as you give homie hookup. So it is up to you. It lies in your hands to determine the destiny of your business.
Absolutely.
And so tell us about, so you mentioned this team. So what's the team? What does the team look like? Is it, and how did you build a team? So is it how many, you know, people who are doing massage, and did you go through some craziness and drama before you got to the right people? Because I think that's one of the things that we need to talk about more, is not feeling like you got to do it all.
Yeah, so this is actually my second go round. So I went through that whole process. I'm just figuring it out. You talked about the speed bumps, and you know. So in this time around, this go around, my team, I was specific about what I wanted this time around, and so my prayer language was around, you know, God, send me the people this time, instead of me going out and choosing the wrong people again. So not the wrong people, but just not people for the vision. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so immediately God gave me names, and one of my partners is sitting here. And we consist of an esthetician. So she heads our aesthetics department, and she handles that. Cody is our COO. So he handles all operations and things like that. And then we have a maternity division, because a part of our specialty is infertility, maternity massage.
Very nice.
So that's our core team. And then we have a team that operates within those departments, those functions.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. I love that you say, you know, I pray, God, you send the right people this time.
Lord Jesus,
because we tried it my way, right?
Yes.
But talk about the importance of when you really want to expand and go to the next level, not stay in a one-woman show. Like, how did you move from that space? Because there are a lot of people, I do see a lot of people who are mobile, you know, if you call them massagers or masseuses, whatever you call them, whatever the correct massage therapists. I ain't go to college, y'all. Public school.
It's okay.
But talk about how you decided to abandon that space of being a one-woman show and I'm going to go here, I'm going to be mobile forever, and I'm going to go here and go there, to no, we're going to build a team and we're going to build this empire?
So like I said, I've been a part of a network marketing company for a very long time, and one of my mentors, Mr. Aaron Burt, told me, he looked me square in my face and he said, if you don't always want to be the one doing everything, you have to build a team.
Yes.
Because I was talking about being tired and drained and, all those things. And so he said, you have to let go. And, I'm like, no, it's my baby. I got to do everything. And so I had another prayer like, God, okay, you know how I am. I need you to send me people that I can trust, that are dependable, and that are reliable. And so it's really just been a faith walk. And I have just been so blessed that God has sent the right people.
Yeah.
And the importance for me was I wanted to make greater impact. Because I'm only one person. And I can only do but so many things. And so to have a team is so key and so important because we cover so much more ground. Like, for instance, Cody, he actually leads our corporate wellness department.
Wow.
So he goes out into large corporations and lands us these great contracts while I'm at the center dealing with a pregnant mom. So we can cover more ground with all of us working together.
So you got to diversify your portfolio, hunty. Yes. So you have got to stop being a one-woman show. Y'all better take some notes.
Because you will kill yourself.
You will kill yourself, right? And like you said, you're covering more ground when you build a team. And, there's that saying, if you want it done right, do it yourself. Lies.
No.
Okay? Lies. No, it's not.
No, find a team that complements you.
If you want it done the way you want it done, do it yourself. But that doesn't mean that's the only way to get it done right and be effective.
Right.
So that, number one, is stop being a one-woman show or one-man show and get you a team, build a team.
Yes,
and then and that can look different for everybody, right? So you have to base it on what you need and make sure everything's in alignment with where you are, what you're offering. Some people are service-based, some people are product-based. You have to decide. You have to map that out and look at that. And then the other thing is to diversify and to have multiple streams of revenue. So I love how you talked about, you guys have the brick and mortar, the facility, and we have this component and that component. Esthetician, we have the people doing the pregnancy massage. But then they got Cody out there doing the corporate wellness. Honey, that's where the checks are, okay?
Yes, honey.
That's where the checks. And they just had a check ready for you when you get on site. Girl, that's my favorite. When corporate call me, be like, Miss Will, we want you to come and do a motivational speech. I will be there. What do you need? I just did a motivational speech in St. Louis, Missouri for a group of about 100 paralegals.
Okay.
I'm telling nothing's like corporate. And I used to run from corporate. And that's also a piece of it, is opening yourself up to what you didn't envision initially.
Yeah.
And I used to run from corporate because I'm like, I didn't even want to be in corporate when I was there. So why would I take my business and go back in corporate? Because they got big money.
Right.
Big budgets and big checks. And it's no foolishness. As soon as you on site, you get that check. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I love that you guys are diversifying in that way. And then you seem very very forward thinking and forward moving, and I don't typically do this, but what's the age? What's your age bracket? Because you just seem very young. Do you not tell people that? I just think okay.
I'm 31.
Okay, so you are young. So that's great. I think that's fantastic.
It doesn't bother me.
I hope that inspires someone to realize that you don't have to be a certain age before you start making major impact in the world and really going for
I started
your
at
dream.
22.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like you just got to have the vision. And you have to be open to expanding beyond what you thought it was going to look like. You have to be willing to have prayer as a big part of it, right?
And you have to be willing to fall down and get back up.
Yes.
I was down.
Talk about that.
Down.
Down. Y'all don't understand. Down.
Like rock bottom down. I've been there, and so you have to have that no matter what, I'm not going to quit, I'm not going to give up attitude. Yeah. No matter what. Yeah. If this is your vision and this is what you know without a shadow of a doubt you are purposed here to do, you just keep going. Dust it off. Keep it going.
So I asked Paula this question, and I'll pose the same question to you. So what is it that you tell yourself to keep going? Because, sometimes you hit rock bottom and it's such a dark place and you don't foresee any way out, and you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this, where I'm gonna go. And some people don't have like a network of people to help pull them up. What do you say to yourself? How do you talk yourself, that internal dialogue through that dark space?
Can I be honest?
Please be very honest.
Okay. I didn't talk myself through. I just wanted to let it go and leave it, and it kept chasing me. I literally, the first business that I had, I shut down my website. I disconnected my phone. Clients were calling. I was trying not to answer. but they kept coming and they kept calling and people kept emailing and kept finding me, and I had to get back at it. And so what that taught me was that it was greater than me. You know, the work that I'm doing is bigger than my hurt, my pain, what I was going through, my disappointment. And so what I tell myself now is that my purpose is greater than how I feel. You know, when I get up in the mornings, every day is not this smile. You know, sometimes I'm worn out and people are, you know, driving me crazy, but I know that there's somebody that's going to walk in my office that day that needs me. So I just keep going, and I just keep pushing, and I say, Lord, this is your business. I'm in His hands, so
and
you got to do it.
And that's the name of it, in His hands, massage
so
therapy.
So if you want me to do it, I need you to give me a little more strength today, because I don't have it.
That's
and I'm
so
just
powerful.
honest.
I love that.
I'm just
and
honest
that's
with
what we
myself.
want here. We want the honest truth. I tell people all the time, you know, I'm in the speaker industry, so I'm in an industry where a lot of people gloss over, give you the glamorous side, or they give you the beginning and the end. No, tell me what happened in the middle, girl. Tell me about when you fell flat on your face and was in that dark space. And you shut everything down and close your, and shut your number down. Yes.
I'm going to give me a job.
Such a pivotal point that the reality is your gift, it will make room for you and it will chase you down. It will not leave you alone. It's going to keep coming back around because that is what you're meant to use to create your unique fingerprint on the world. So when it is your thing given to you divinely and it's that's your DNA. Come on now, you can't run, you might be able to run a little bit, but you can't hide permanently, right? And then eventually it's going to find you and be like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still waiting on you to come and utilize this thing. One of our guests, Anita, was talking this morning about the deathbed regret. And that made me think about my coach, Lisa Nichols, and how she talks about that dash on your headstone. And it's like, you know, the dash, most people, that represents, you know, when you were born to when you died. She said, no, the dash is the most, it's not the year of when you were born and when you died. The dash is the most important thing on that stone. You know why? Because that says what you did while you were here. That's what the dash represents, y'all. Everything that you did, the legacy you created, did you walk in your gift? Did you use it? Did you help people? That dash is so powerful. And that's what it sounds like you're saying. It's like, look, I decided to, you know, pick back up the dash and make that thing count and create a legacy. So the conversation is just powerful. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Shouting out. Shanae says she loves this segment. Kelly Reagan says good stuff. Kimberly Taylor says good. His purpose is greater than how I feel. They liking that, girl.
Amen.
My purpose is, Carol also, my purpose is greater than how I feel. That's golden. Author Roxy DeWitt Dawson says, Carol says, given divinely, it's in your DNA. Yes, Amen. It is in your DNA. So what's next? What is next for, two questions I have. Number one, before we get to the what's next, what are some of the specific challenges that you face from having a brick and mortar? I think that's important. And then what's next for you? Because we were talking about earlier how sometimes you can do something so long and maybe there's, I don't know, you get bored or you get disinterested. How do you keep the interest going, and what's next?
I don't really have... Okay, so I'll start with the first one. Some of the challenges with having a brick and mortar, obviously... there's more financial responsibility.
The overhead. Hello.
The overhead.
Girl, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
It's
Lord,
different.
the overhead.
Yeah, because when you're mobile, you are the business, so
Yeah.
you don't have all of that. Other than that, there are no real challenges. This time around, I can say.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
But when they come, you going to jump right over them like those.
It's just awesome. I mean, it's all about perspective. You know, we've been faced with tons of challenges. So we're actually on Main Street in Laurel. And if anyone is familiar with Main Street, it's like historic Laurel. So I mean, even getting our signage on the door, and, you know, there were so many obstacles in the beginning because, you know, we don't look like everybody else that's there. So to other people that may have been a deterrent, but to us, we were like, let's go. You know, they don't want us here,
So
we're going to show up.
You took that obstacle and turned it into a challenge, like, oh, we're going to do this.
Yeah. So it's not really challenging for us. It's a... it's a positive challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
For us.
So it's not that it's not a challenge, but I like what you said earlier, which is that it's the perspective. It's your perspective about the challenge. So it's not like, oh, this challenge is a deterrent. This challenge is like, what? We got this. We're going to kickstart. We're going to just jump into high gear and we're going to make this happen. So I love that. It's perspective. So you're going to have challenges. It's what's your perspective about the challenge.
Yeah, like for instance, a couple weeks ago, we had the unit above us, their water heater broke. And so it burst our tile in the ceiling, and we had water, you know, all over the place, and
Yeah.
it was a complete disaster. We had a huge wedding spa party coming up that weekend, you know, so it was a whole thing. But when I walked into the space and I saw what was happening, I just started praising God. Thank you, God, for restoring, giving us new, you know, all these things. So it could have been a deterrent. It could have been something that I warned about, but no, it was like, let's go.
Okay, so how did you handle it?
I prayed.
And
I
then what?
praised. And then
what?
I called my landlord and said,
Okay, there
come
you go.
fix this.
All right, we like real tangible stuff. Like I
Come fix
prayed
this
to the
now.
Lord and he cleaned up the water. No, God ain't coming down and
No,
cleaned
he
up the
did
water.
not come clean the water. But the emergency disaster team came and they fixed it right away. And
There
so,
you go. I love it. All right.
It's just how we handle things.
Yeah. Perspective and how you move forward. And so, you know, I always like to say, you know, faith without works is dead. So you got to pray and get your praise on, then you got to do something. You got to work.
Yeah.
So I love that you keep God first, and that you always say, okay, look, there's some silver lining in this. There's something that we're going to learn from this. It'll teach us how to handle it the next time. And then, okay, now what's the solution?
Now,
and that's what we were talking about earlier. Always focusing on the
moving.
solution beyond that immediate problem. So I love that. And then what's next?
So what's next is we are expanding. We are doing more training in our facility now because we have something unique.
Yeah.
We also are hosting a spa brunch. So we want people to come in and relax and get their spirit, their soul, and their body fed when they come to our space.
Beautiful.
We are continuing with our meditation classes, and we're going to be training other therapists in our facility as well, so that we can help them grow and establish their businesses and you know, things like that.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Like I'm moved. I'm proud of you. I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to make sure I come up and give me a massage.
Yes, please.
I don't do that a whole lot, but after this whole 2 hours of self-care, you know, maybe God is trying to tell me something. Cheryl, go get you a massage, right? So kudos to you for the vision. Kudos to Cody, who's here in the studio with us. Kudos to the whole team of, let me get it right, In His Hands Massage Therapy LLC. We are shouting you out. Keep up the amazing work. Keep being creative and innovative and expanding your mind and what you can do. I love that. I love people who are willing to go beyond the norm and beyond what, you know, we think it should be and kind of step outside of the comfort zone. And that's clearly what you're doing. So tell people how they can connect with you on social media, as well as if they want to come and enjoy your services.
Okay, so first of all, we are at 617 Main Street in Laurel. We're right next to the Red, Hot, and Blue. I know everybody knows where the Red, Hot, and Blue is, so come see us. We are on Instagram at InHisHands_LLC, and we are on Facebook at In His Hands Laurel. So follow us, shout us out.
That makes it so easy. Yes. Fantastic. So there you have it. Leslie Butler, founder and visionary of Holistic Healing Center, In His Hands Massage Therapy LLC. Just a game changer, a trailblazer, doing it up, creating, you know, this model for all of us, especially for generations coming behind you who will see you and be inspired by everything that you're doing in the world, the impact that you're having. So keep up the great work. You guys, make sure you get connected. Make sure you get connected with these folks that we have on the show. We will be here. Okay, we will not be here live next Wednesday because I will be out of town. I will be out of the state to this big event that I can't talk about. Hopefully I can talk about it when I come back.
Yes,
Hopefully they'll give me permission to talk about it. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward. To learning and growing. I'm always a student, lifelong learner. Absolutely. I can't wait to connect with some people who undoubtedly will expand my mind and expand what I believe is possible, because when you see it, there's something about being able to witness it. It's like it creates a different perception in your mind. So we will have the show will run next Wednesday from 12 to 2, and then I will be back here live with some more amazing guests the following Wednesday on Impact the World Radio. Thank you so much for being with us, and we will see you when we see you. Have an amazing day.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. the confidence to